You know, in the IT world, you've got your everyday tools, your wrenches and your screwdrivers. But then, you've got the master blueprint, the one tool that can take a chaotic network and turn it into something beautifully organized. Today, we're diving into that blueprint. Let's get into it.
Have you ever sat down at your desk, tried to log in, and just watched that little circle spin and spin and spin? Or maybe you're trying to grab a file from a server in another office and it feels like the data is literally being walked over by carrier pigeon? That frustration you're feeling, it's not just in your head. It's a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. I want you to imagine a massive, sprawling city, but with no street signs, no traffic lights, and your GPS is completely dead. That's what your network is like without a proper plan. Your data packets, they just get lost. They end up taking the scenic route across an ocean, and your whole operation just grinds to a halt.
So what's really going on in this city with no map? Well, the problem is your computers have absolutely no sense of geography. None. This means when your user in the London office tries to log in, their computer might just randomly decide to send that request all the way to a server in New York simply because the network doesn't know any better.
And this is where the dominoes start to fall. That slow login isn't just an annoyance. It's happening because that request is traveling thousands of miles, which totally clogs up your expensive long-distance network connections, your WAN links. This leads to crazy inefficient data replication, and it wastes the precious bandwidth that your most important business apps are screaming for.
Okay, things are a mess, but what if you could hire a professional, an urban planner for your digital city? A tool that could come in, draw the map, build the highways, and make sure all the traffic flows perfectly? Well, good news. That tool already exists.
And here it is, Active Directory Sites and Services. This is the master blueprint, the official GPS for your network's physical world. What it does is it tells Active Directory, your network's central brain, not just who all the users and computers are, but where they are. And believe me, that one little piece of information changes everything.
So where does our new urban planner even begin? Well, the very first job is the most important one. It has to draw a map of the entire city.
The process is actually brilliantly simple. The tool looks at the different IP address ranges, or subnets, that you're using in your physical offices. Then it groups them into these logical buckets called sites. And just like that, Active Directory suddenly has geographical awareness. This creates something called client affinity, which is just a fancy way of saying computers can now find the servers and resources that are physically closest to them.
Let me show you just how easy it is to put a whole office on this new map. First, you define a site. Let's just call it London Office. Simple enough. Second, you create a subnet object for London's unique IP address range. Third, you link the two together. That's it. You've just given your network a fully functional GPS.
And here's the magic. Here's the payoff for doing this. With that map in place, when a user in London goes to log in, Active Directory instantly knows, hey, I should connect them to the local London server. That login request never even has to think about crossing the ocean. It makes authentication ridiculously faster, and honestly, it just makes everyone's day better.
All right, so drawing the map is a huge step, but that's really only half the battle. A truly great urban planner doesn't just draw the map, they design the entire transportation system, the roads, the highways, and how the traffic actually flows.
This is all about controlling data replication. See, your domain controllers, those servers that manage all your users and security, they need to be constantly syncing up and sharing updates. Without a plan, they just scream information at each other over your slowest, most expensive network links, creating this huge digital traffic jam. Sites and Services lets you step in and design intelligent data highways instead.
And here's how you do it. It's actually really cool. You create what are called site links between your offices, and you give each link a cost. Now, just think of cost like you're playing golf. The lower the number, the better. So, a super fast fiber connection, that gets a low cost, maybe 50. A slow, expensive satellite link you only use for emergencies, that gets a really high cost, like 200. Active Directory will always choose the path with the lowest cost, which forces all that important replication traffic onto your best connections first.
And if you want to get even more efficient, you can designate specific servers to handle all this traffic between sites. We call these bridgehead servers. Think of them like the main Amazon distribution centers or shipping hubs in our city. So instead of every server trying to talk to every other server all the time, all the traffic gets funneled through these hubs. It gives you maximum control and amazing efficiency.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking right now.
This sounds like some old-school IT stuff. Is any of this still relevant in our cloud-first, hybrid world? And the answer to that is a resounding absolute yes.
In fact, let's talk about the brand new Windows Server 2025. This is not some dusty, forgotten tool from the past. The whole concept of digital urban planning is so fundamental, so critical, that it's still a core and improved part of Microsoft's latest and greatest server operating system.
Look, the basic principles of good city planning haven't really changed. You still need roads and signs. But the tools our digital planner gets to use, oh yeah, they've gotten a serious upgrade. They've been modernized to handle the insane security and scale challenges of today's networks.
So in Windows Server 2025, this tool is more critical than ever before. All the core functions we've been talking about, they're still there, but now they are wrapped in much stronger security, and they're built to scale for these massive, complex enterprise networks we all manage now. The bottom line is this: mastering this tool is still an absolutely vital IT skill.
So let's bring it all home. Why does any of this really matter? It matters because a well-planned network saves you time. It saves you real money on bandwidth costs. And most importantly, it gives your users a fast, reliable, and frustration-free experience. It turns your network from a headache into a powerful, efficient asset for your business.
And that just leaves us with one final thought. Every single network out there is a digital city. The only real question is whether it was thoughtfully planned by an expert architect or if it just kind of grew by accident over time. So take a look at your own environment and ask yourself, who's drawing your map?